start this bad boy off right. You know, I'm going back to my moves that I just learned within the last, like, I don't know, month and a half or so. I've been, you know, trying out different post moves. I got player of the week off the first week of March. Going straight to the Clippers. They just won one. They don't have Bill Walton no more. They have a couple injuries. Ricky Pierce is out. Derek Smith is out.
He's guarded by Russell.
But it's all good. You know what I mean? They're still kind of being competitive. They're almost at 500. They only have a month and a half to go. Right now, probably only a month because a week just passed in March. But our record, you'll see our record. Our record is tough. We're not number one in the West, but we're doing our thing. And I'm doing stuff like, you know, stuff like that. You feel me? There's injuries. They have another injury. They're pretty much done for. The Clippers probably shouldn't go to the playoffs just because they have so many injuries right now. I mean, they might get healthy before, but I don't know. I feel like they're pretty much done right now. I feel like they're done.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. So long and good night, everyone.
So I got player of the week again, 2 times in a row. First Dominique Wilkins on the East, then Moses Malone. But me, I might just take over March, bruh. I low-key want that MVP, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I do have another player on the other side of me, George Gervin, who is pretty good at what he does. You feel me? You know, he's getting San Antonio hype. We're going against Denver. Our former guy, Fred Roberts, is on that team. But Denver's record is so terrible and poor that I don't know. This might be the end of the season for them. 2 hands for safety. I see Fred. I see my boy Fred Roberts. We faced the Dallas Mavericks twice this month. They're pretty good. You know, they got Walton at center now. They have some scores. They have Otis Thorpe, the rookie that they drafted. So, you know, back then they had 2 big men, and sometimes the 2 big men, it wasn't even like one can shoot, one is down in the post. Usually what would happen back then, at least, that was a great defensive play right there. But usually what would happen back then, all the way up until, let's say, 2009 or 10. Basically, when Kevin Durant got drafted, bro, that's when things changed. Not so much. Actually, no, things didn't even change. Things didn't even change until the Warriors won the championship, bro, in 2014. That's really when things changed. Because if you look at, I mean, kind of, sort of. If you look at the 2011 Heat, when LeBron first got there, they still had 2 bigs. They were playing Anthony and Chris Bosh at the 4, and then LeBron at the 3. And the next year, when they actually won it against the Thunder, they had LeBron playing the 4. And I think Shane Battier was playing like the 3, 4, whatever the case is. Like, basically, they had LeBron and Shane on the floor instead of 2 big men, and that shit kind of gave the Warriors an idea, basically.
And so it's the Spurs with the win.
Like that depth lineup that they had: Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, I think Harrison Barnes, and then the Splash Brothers.
And they needed everyone to have all hands on deck, didn't they?
Let me tell you.
And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our
The reason they called that one the death lineup, but then they had like the real death lineup between, I think, what was it, Andre, KD, Draymond,
We'll see you next time.
and the Splash Brothers. I think that was the second death lineup. Yeah, anyway. We beat Dallas. We're number 3. We're 41-26.
Good. For Kansas City, they've gone.
Lakers and Jazz are up there. You feel me? They're going to be up and stuck there. I don't know. I mean, I can't necessarily say if that's the Western Conference Finals because we're in the West. So, if anything, we're going to be in the Western Conference Finals. You know, fuck the Jazz. I already know the Lakers are probably going to get there, but, you know, fuck the Jazz. We're not going to let them just, feel me? Anyway, one-on-one with them. Akeem Olajuwon scores, the nice score. It's usually like that every time we face each other, bruh. I mean, it is what it is. He's a #1 pick. I'm like I forgot what pick I am, but I'm not #3 or 2 because that's Sam Bowie and Michael Jordan. So, yeah. Either way, it's more so of like a Rookie of the Year type of thing where me and him are just fighting for Rookie of the Year and who's the most dominant rookie big man in the league. Damn near the most dominant big man, but that's like a whole nother conversation. So yeah, you know, Mavericks, we hype. We know we can beat them. The Warriors, on the other hand, we know we can beat them, but we just gotta stay vigilant. You know what I'm saying? They're underdogs. They can mess around and end up winning the game if you're asleep about it. You know what I mean? Purvis Short and Sleepy Floyd are like the leading scorers on this team. They're the 1 and the 3. Sleepy can shoot a little bit. They don't have too many shooters. I think Warriors became shooters in the 90s around Run TMC. But at this point, yeah, that's pretty much what it is right there. Hey, like I said, man, Golden State ain't no hope. We really gotta lock in and pin this team down and actually start executing on offense, or else it's over for us. This is a post. Oh my God. But this is a post Rick Barry Warriors right here. So they don't necessarily know where to go. But they just know to play basketball in a very team-like way. Hey! And so it's Gervin with it. He brings it up for the San Antonio Spurs. As much as I thought this was going to be like one of those just run-of-the-mill games, just normal whatever, I'm going to just shit on them and keep it pushing. Nah, the whole time I got to shit on them to even survive this joint, bruh. It's fourth quarter, we almost down by double digits. Yeah, that block is crazy, bro. That block is insanity. But look at all what I gotta do to even, you know what I'm saying, keep us in this joint, bro. And even still, they're still getting like open shots and shit. George Gervin, I would say, is like king of the fast breaks. Some people think of Paxson as a shooting guard and a point. John Paxson, not necessarily the greatest passer, but hey, he's coming off the bench. We have one of the best passers in the league, Johnny Moore. Oh, baby, let's see that one again. I think his name is Mickey. But you see what I got to do to even get the dub out here, to even take the lead? This might be our first lead of the whole entire game. Me to George Gervin, I'm telling you, he's the king of fast breaks. You just throw it down to Mr. George Gervin and he does the rest. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, damn. That's okay. That's okay. Usually he makes those. But we're good. Me and I'm king of the rebounds over here. I'm going to pass it to somebody, and somebody's going to pass it to our guy, George Gervin, and he's going to finish the game. Yeah, I feel me. I mean, it's not necessarily finished all the way right now, but go ahead and finish that off, George. What is he talking about? That is the Iceman, bro. It is so fun having the Iceman on my team. I never actually had somebody like this. I mean, I had somebody close as far as like an NBA tomorrow. Go ahead and watch that on Twitch. We do have a playoff game coming up on Twitch. Yeah, NBA tomorrow is sort of like playing with Nate Brown, but not really, because George Gervin is like the team already. You know what I mean? In NBA tomorrow, I got drafted first, so I'm the team, and everything is like revolving around me. The team revolves around me, but because George Gervin's been a Spur his whole life, and I just got drafted, now like the team is around him, and I'm like the compliment to George Gervin. So, you know, my default is give it to George first, because he's gonna. You know, he can hit a three, he can hit a mid-range, he can go to the rim, he's going to dunk, he's going to lay it up, he's going to make free throws, he's going to make the right pass. I give it to George first, but sometimes, you know, I got to take over for the 9-9. Yeah, sometimes I got to get the ball, and I just got to do my thing in the post, bro. And most times, it works. But sometimes we play teams like the Lakers, the Jazz, the 76ers, the Celtics, certain teams like that. My moves don't necessarily work like that all the way. Look at that defense, but then, you know, he still kind of made that shit. If it was like one more second, that would have been 2 points. So you know, I got the defense down packed, but sometimes that shit don't even matter, bro. There are some bigs out here who just are immune to defense. Akeem Olajuwon being one of them.
They're on a 14-6 run.
Ralph Sampson kind of being one of them also. Now, I can guard Mark Eaton, but Ralph is a little different. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a little different, bro. You seen I did get that shot clock violation, but it was by the hairs of my chin, my boy. Look at that. I did the spin around, turn around, fade away in the post, on the block. That's what I was meant to say. So back in these days right here, there were 2 people on the block. Power forwards and centers. The moment you went down the court, one went on one block, the other went on the other block. And that's how they started off.
Here's Abdul-Jabbar, and Jones pulls it down. Jones has got 6 rebounds now in the game. Here's Jenkins, and he banks in the layup. Jenkins got 20 points.
And with this last run, they have shut the door on any chance of a comeback.
Shut the door, turned off the lights, and locked it up. Fantastic run for them to end the game.
7-second difference, shot and game clock. A nice shot by Gervin. Gervin's got 30.
You know, I think they've got to show a little more anticipation dealing with these screens, because right now they're just laying on them and getting stuck.
Look, you have to go over the top or duck under. Right now, they're seemingly trying to go through the screen.
And so it's the Lakers taking care of business here. And to seal a road win, Mike, with this kind of margin, tells you the confidence that right now this team is playing with.
A statement win. Took the home crowd completely out of it and won going away.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for now. So for Mike Fratello, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge.
So we got Michael Jordan ending it off with 52. This is a career high right here. The rest of his teammates kind of helped him out a little bit. They actually beat the 76ers, which is a big deal. The Bulls are definitely in the playoffs also. But coming up next, we got April and the playoffs. We're going to put it all in one. As you can see right here, we got a Lakers game in LA. And this is going to be one of those ones. But I'll see you then.